First class on Amtrak's brand new high-speed Acela versus coach on the Keystone Service. One comes with lounge access, a complimentary meal, and luxury seating, while the other just gets you from point A to point B. I rode both between Philadelphia and New York, back to back, to find out if first class is actually worth triple the price, or if coach is the smarter move. And before you ask, why not just drive? After traveling through Europe and experiencing how good trains can be, I wanted to see what kind of value Amtrak really offers here in the United States. So I booked the tickets, $296 for first class, $95 for coach, and set out to see which one delivers the better experience. Welcome to 30th Street Station in Philadelphia, where our journey begins. As you know, I'm very excited to be back on good old Amtrak today. Our first class NextGen Acela ticket we got at a bargain for $296, and then later we'll be coming back on the Keystone Service in coach class, which was $95. So today we'll be comparing the new and the old and see if the upgrade is worth it or not. Now, we are a little bit late to the party as the NextGen Acela train launched August 28th, 2025. So we're only 4 months late, but maybe some of the bugs are fixed by now. I just found out that if you have a first class ticket or if you're riding in a roomette or private room, you actually get lounge access at departure and at arrival. So next we'll be checking out the Metropolitan Lounge here in Philadelphia, and then we'll also get to see the Metropolitan Lounge in New York City upon arrival. But I've never actually taken Amtrak out of here before, so we have about a half hour until the train leaves, so let's see if we can find our way.
Help yourself to whatever you like.
All right.
From at the other end to the right.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And I'll get you when it's boarding time.
Okay, appreciate it. And you get a view of the concourse from up here with the Christmas tree. So the one thing that I've heard that's pretty cool about these lounges, for example in Philadelphia here, they actually have these elevators that are going to take you directly to the train. So right to the track. I can see the old Acela train actually just pulled in next to us here. So we'll get a visual of the two trains as they approach. I can already tell, I think that the windows are a little bit larger on the new Acela train, so looking forward to seeing it. So there are 9 cars on the new Acela train. Car 1 being for first class, 6 is the cafe car, and then 9 being the quiet car. So we're going to make our way up to first class here.
First class?
Yes. Thank you. Oh, a little stepper thing. Morning. All right, good stuff. All right, we have our breakfast options. Got our Fiji water. Wow, and we're already off. Breakfast. Each comes with a fresh gourmet croissant. I think we're gonna have to go with the Mediterranean quiche. Now, when you're booking your NextGen Acela train, make sure you look for the logo that says NextGen Acela, or else if you don't look for that NextGen logo, you'll end up on the original Acela, which came out in the 2000s. That's okay too, but if you want to be on the new train, just look for that new logo, because it can be tricky at first. Now, I think I can show you around the seat now that I've gotten my spot. Overall, I think the seats are actually pretty comfortable. I was hearing that the seats were hard, but you know, it's been 4 months. I think that the seats have been worn in a little bit. There are these two head things. The thing that I've heard is the most concern is that you can't really sleep, or is that these head things are annoying, but I think they're good. Yeah. Now there is some room in the overhead space up there, as well as you do get some room under here if you want to put your bag. I just have my bag right next to me, but there is a tray table that comes down, as well as a foot stand. Okay, so there's charging stations, as well as USB-A connections. So this is the Mediterranean quiche that you get in first class on the new Acela train. Very nice touch with the Amtrak logo. Right, they give you real silverware. Something I liked about the Amtrak ride I did in New York to Chicago was the utensils. Let's see if that focuses. Actually has the Acela logo on the utensils, so that's pretty cool. That's good. Ooh, sorry. Alright, so we've gotten up to explore a little bit. We're now in car number 2, so why don't we check out the important thing, the bathroom here. So it looks like it will indicate as green. Oh, look at this. Wow, so the door closes and opens by itself, and then you can actually lock it, so that's pretty neat. So look at the size of this bathroom. There we go. You know, I think on the other Amtrak trains that I've been on, I think there's been 2 bathrooms per car, and this seems like there's just 1 bathroom per car. Now the bathroom's pretty big, so I guess that's why there's not 2. Compared to a flight, I mean, this is like 3 flight bathrooms. But this is pretty nice. Now, the one issue I did notice a lot with the other Amtrak is the trash can. It seems like the trash can, oh, okay, you open it like that. Now, in the other Amtraks, it seemed like it was the paper towels. Nobody would want to really push them down all the way, so let's see. There's soap, wash, and then the hand dryer is... Now, this is my first time on the Northeast Corridor line. This line originated in the 1800s, and it's really been the busiest corridor in the U.S. since that time. The Northeast Corridor hits major hubs, hitting areas from Boston to New York to Philadelphia, Wilmington, Baltimore, D.C. So as you can imagine, this is a heavily used line for the Amtrak. All right, we're making our way to the cafe car. All right, we should be in the cafe car area now. This I'm excited to see. So, now if you're not in first class, you can come here to the cafe car to get some food. Now the prices are a little bit high. Here's for the drinks. But basically it's a grab and go station. Beverages, food, a little pricey, about $13, $15. It also looks like instead of seating, there's more of like this standing area. So you kind of lean up against this, look out the window while you eat your food. I guess that's the new style now. Now it's more of a stand versus sitting. So, cool place to hang out. So one note about the cafe area is they will have a self-checkout, but it's not quite ready yet. So currently you walk up to the counter and order your food there. It looks like we've hit a point in the ride where the train's going pretty quick. So the moment you've all been waiting for, let's see how fast we're going. Looks like we're going about 124 miles an hour. Pretty crazy, just flying by everybody. The train can go up to 160 miles per hour, but only in certain areas. So keep that in mind. Right now we're only going between Philadelphia and New York City. So the train might not be able to reach its full 160 miles per hour. We're gonna keep an eye on it, get live updates here. Now again, the point of this video is we are comparing first class of the NextGen Acela train versus coach class in the Keystone service. But something that is really interesting to me is when I booked both of these train tickets, they're both about an hour and 20-minute ride. So I don't know, even though the Acela train goes up to 160 miles an hour, maybe 150 at the most in this part of the Northeast corridor. Now the Keystone service also says an hour and 20 minutes for the full ride. So it seems like the rides are both the same amount of time, even though this is a high-speed train. So that's the only thing that kind of confuses me so far. Now, I think you might get more of the benefit of the high-speed train when you go longer distance, like Boston to DC. But yeah, I don't know. For the shorter distance, it might be the same as taking coach or any other kind of Amtrak train. So far, being on this new train is really, really nice. So now, speaking of timing, I do want a quick talk about delays. So the Amtraks are notorious for having delays. And even this train today was delayed a little bit. Now, the delays are a little bit less common on the Northeast corridor. Now, the reason there could be delays are a couple different reasons. One being if it's the summer months, the train tracks are made from steel. And in the summer, steel expands. So it changes the orientation of the train tracks, so there's a risk of the train actually derailing. Now, the trains will slow down for safety, so that doesn't happen, but the trains naturally might just go slower in the summer months due to that reason. Now, the other reason that the Amtrak trains might get delayed is because they share the train tracks and lines with the freight trains. Now, if a freight train gets somewhere before an Amtrak, then the Amtrak has to wait in line behind the freight train. Now, but on the Northeast corridor, that DC to Boston route, Amtrak, I understand, owns most of the train tracks that it uses, so I think they get more priority and there's probably less delays with the freight trains, as well as between, for example, Philadelphia and New York City. NJ Transit is also on these train tracks, but Amtrak would get priority over them as well. Overall, what I'm trying to say is if you are taking the Amtrak to a flight or to another train, I would say it's safe to give yourself at least an hour and a half, maybe for the Northeast corridor. You never know what can happen. There can be breakdowns. Just be sure to be flexible with your schedule. And if you're going across country, like when I went from New York City to Chicago, give yourself at least 6 hours. I've seen some pretty crazy delays, but just be aware of any sort of delays that can happen. So you'll be good to go. So let's see what else we can do. Get back to our seat here. Almost to New York City, and I met Andre. We bonded over being locked out of the Metropolitan Lounge. But shout out to his podcast. Check out Cherry Pickin' Podcast. So great to meet you, Andre.
Nice to meet you, Casey.
Have you enjoyed the train ride so far?
I have, yeah. It's been a smooth ride for the most part.
Yeah.
To just see the views as I go up to New York.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I've been happy with it so far myself. So, but yeah. All right. Great to meet you, Andre.
Nice to meet you, man.
So we are just arriving in New York now. So last thing I almost forgot was to see the recline of the seat. So there is a button. There is a button right here. So it's kind of weird. So for the seat recline, the cushion actually moves forward instead of the seat going back. So I guess it's good you're not disturbing the person behind you. But I don't know, it's kind of like more of a slouch than a recline, I think. But hey, That's something new also about the train itself. I think you can see it right here, not reclined, and that one is. And we just got our hot towel too. Take a quick shower before I get off, I guess. Here we go. Yeah, this place is nice. It is packed, yeah.
I'll see you, man.
But yeah, good to see you again. See you around. Yeah,
man.
great to meet you. So,
Nice meeting you, man.
yeah, absolutely.
Can't wait to watch all your stuff.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Safe travels. Yeah.
See you, Casey.
See ya. See you, Andre. Now this is probably the nicest Amtrak lounge that they have. I've been so far to Chicago, been to Philly now. Now we've gotten our coffee at the Moynihan Train Lounge here. I think back to 4 months ago when I was here, when I took the Amtrak roomette from New York City all the way to Chicago. I actually didn't even know I had lounge access then. But when you have a roomette or a private room, or if you ride first class on the Acela like we did today, you do get lounge access on departure and arrival. So when you come to New York City, make sure if you have lounge access that you stop here, because it's really nice. There's free coffee in there, complimentary chips and snacks and all sorts of food behind the counter. Now, I believe if you don't have lounge access as part of your ticket, you can use your points in your app if you have Amtrak points. But also normally it's about $30 to $35 to let you pay at the door to get in. I don't know if the $30 to $35 is worth it just for some of the stuff that's free, but if you're in a pinch and you really want to charge your phone, this might be a good spot to come. But otherwise, probably better to spend that money on like a nice lunch or a restaurant at $30 instead. Because if you don't come to the lounge, the alternative is there's just standing area down by where the tracks are. And I'll show you what that looks like. So if you're not in the lounge, you end up just in this standing area where surprisingly they don't even have any benches. They do have benches in Philly and Chicago. Also, like the other lounges that I've been to, the attendant will actually come and let you know when your train's leaving. So there's TVs inside here that has the entire schedule of all the Amtraks for the day, and they'll call out and bring you down personally to the track, to whichever train you'll be on. So it's a nice experience. So be sure you come here if you have access for it. And I've actually never been into an airport lounge, but I feel like the airport lounges can be a little overcrowded since everyone now has the credit card to get you into the airport lounge, and flights are so busy normally, airports are packed. But honestly, with the Amtrak lounges, I've never had any sort of issue with overcrowding. They're usually not that filled, so lots of places to sit down, places to charge your phone. I'm on a couch right now. So again, recommend the Amtrak lounges. Andre, we meet again.
Yeah, man, I came back. I just grabbed a bagel real quick.
Good stuff. Yeah, I gotta grab some food too. Anything you recommend here? What'd you get?
Oh, I just got a bagel from outside.
Maybe I'll do a fruit salad. I'll be healthy. So I think we're gonna have our fruit and then be on our way. All right, I'm heading out now. See you, Andre. Nice to meet you, man. Here you can see right in the entryway, they actually have a small model of the brand new Acela train. There it is. So can't miss it. Wow, it's actually pretty in detail. You can actually see the seats on the inside. They even have the tray tables. It's actually pretty cool. We had to make sure that we enjoyed the lounge while we can now, because in about 4 or 5 hours, I'll be coming back to this station to take the Keystone Service back from New York City to Philadelphia in coach class. So I think it'll be a little different of an experience, but looking forward to it. Now, there's only one Penn station in New York City, but if you are taking the Amtrak, you do want to make sure you're at Moynihan Train Hall. This is the building right here, because the Pennsylvania Station, it's the same station, but this part of the station under Madison Square Garden is more for NJ Transit, Long Island Express. Make sure you are going to the right part of Penn Station. Okay, so now we have a couple of hours to kill in New York City until our ride back to Philadelphia. So we're gonna find some things to do, see what kind of things are walkable or a short subway from Penn Station, the main hub where you'll arrive in Amtrak. Be sure to check out this video as well. So otherwise, I'll see you when we're back at Penn Station. See you soon. Okay, so we've made it back to Moynihan Hall Station, where we'll be catching now the Keystone Service back to Philadelphia, riding in coach class. This was $95, so less than the $297 that we paid earlier for the first class on the NextGen Acela. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they're different.
Okay, and then all I need to do is show.
Up there on the lounge is where we were earlier, but we do not have access with only a coach class ticket, so we have to fend for ourselves down here. I should probably go check the screen to see if my train's on time and which track it'll be on. So we are the Keystone 211. So we've resorted to sitting outside the Metropolitan Lounge. You can smell some of the food they're cooking in there. Still waiting for our track.
This is a boarding call for Amtrak Keystone Train 647. Attention customers. For your safety.
So here it is, the Keystone. Now we are in coach. There was no coach on the Acela trains. So let's see. Amtrak, coach, coach, coach. This is a long train, I think. There were a lot of people in line in front of me. Let's see where we can get on. Hello. This is the quiet car. Sorry. You're good, you're good. All right. Pretty similar to being on the Lakeshore Limited. You know, you have your tray table. Wow. This extends a good amount. It's a little broken, but we'll figure that out later. There are 220 volt outlets, but those are the only outlets in this seat. So if somebody is sitting next to you, their cord would go across you basically. Pretty good leg room. Let's see, is there a thing for your feet? I don't think there is. So let's see if we can, oh, all right, we got it resolved. Okay. Good stuff. We'll check here's the recline. Oh, okay, pretty good recline. Let's bring that back up.
Good afternoon, passengers. I'd like to welcome on Amtrak's Keystone 647 en route to Harrisburg. As you can see, our train is near capacity, so if you have any pocketbook, purses, luggage, or laptops in the next seat next to you, please remove them from the overhead luggage rack.
Okay, so if you're interested to see what the bathroom looks like on the Keystone Service, it's pretty similar to the Lakeshore Limited, what you get for coach normally. Here's the bathroom, got a toilet, and sink, trash can, towels. So, and then the door over here actually locks. This lets you know that it's locked. It's not in too bad shape. Granted, this is a little bit of a shorter route right here. Just going between, so far, just New York to Philadelphia. Granted, I think that this line is not that long. Now, the Keystone Service has been around since about 1971 when Amtrak really started. Now, they extended it later to include New York, but the Keystone Service was primarily between Harrisburg to Philadelphia. And then about 10 years later, in 1981, it got the name the Keystone Service in honor of Pennsylvania being the Keystone State. Now, it's pretty basic. The conductor did say there is not a cafe car on this train, so there's no food service. Like I said, the longest route you could go on this is Harrisburg to New York City. So no overnight, no dinners, nothing like that. Pretty much your basic bare bones that Amtrak has to offer. But overall, it's pretty good. It's a classic ride. And I mentioned too, it was $95 for my ticket to go between New York City back to Philadelphia. And it seems a little bit pricey. Just for reference, when I took the Lakeshore Limited from Chicago back to New York City, that was $99. So I paid $99 for coach class from Chicago to New York, and then $95 for New York to Philadelphia. So I think we got a little bit of turbulence, but we're okay. So I think the advantage with Amtrak and the pricing, I think you're always going to do better going the longer distance. I think these short trips, like Philadelphia to New York, those trying to fill up the train, and you might end up be paying surcharge prices. Overall, pretty good experience so far. It's the basic bare bones, but it gets you point A to point B. But we can walk around a little more and see what we're able to see. Between the trains here. Kind of interesting, you got the same route, same tracks, but two completely different experiences. This ride's a little bit more bumpy compared to the high-speed train. We'll have to see how fast we're going in a second here. Let's see if we can find our way back to our seat here. And the moment you've been waiting for, let's see how fast we're going. Wow, 121 miles per hour. It's pretty quick, I think, for these Amtraks. There you go, so that's your difference. So the NextGen Acela reaches up to 160. I'm not sure if it does 160 in this corridor between New York and Philadelphia. This is going up to 120, which I think is still pretty fast. Now, the NextGen Acela train definitely has a lot less bumpiness to it. It has a slimmer design. It's going to be able to go around turns and be less bumpy, so there'll be a lot less motion sickness in the NextGen Acela train too. I think the NextGen Acela is worth it for the experience if you want to be on a nice brand new train, experience high-speed train travel in the United States. That's what we have right now. I think what's always important to remember with train travel is you do it to see parts of the country you probably wouldn't otherwise see if you're driving, if you're on the highway, if you're focusing on driving. A train's a great way just to kind of relax and kick back, look at the scenery that goes by, talk to people, so get to meet people like Andre. It's a great experience overall, so remember, it's always the journey. It's not necessarily the destination. Don't think of the train as a point A to point B. Remember, it's about the journey.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a few moments, we'll be arriving at the next station stop, Philadelphia, 30th Street Station. Please take this time to check around your seat and in the overhead luggage rack for all personal items.
So we made it back to 30th Street Station, where we started earlier today with the new NextGen Acela train in first class. So coach was a good experience. It was kind of the bare bones, no cafe car. For $95, it seems a little expensive. Now when it comes to the direct comparison of the first class NextGen Acela train versus the Keystone Service, the NextGen Acela is obviously really nice. And being in first class, you get that complimentary meal, but it's kind of a short trip. Honestly, I think I'd recommend the Acela Business Class. So the new Acelas do offer a business and first class. The business, you don't get the complimentary meal, but it looked pretty nice from when I was walking through. So I think it's worth it to get the experience and see the new train. In terms of duration of the trip, they both were about an hour and a half to an hour and 20 minutes. So I don't think, like I said, on those short routes, you're getting a lot back with the high-speed train. But nonetheless, I think this NextGen Acela train is a step in the right direction for Amtrak and for the United States to get on that level of high-speed trains. I've seen Amtrak advertising a lot more, seeing their logo on the court or the field for professional sporting events. So I think that's a positive thing that Amtrak is up their marketing, and I see a lot of advertisements for the NextGen Acela train as well. So looking forward to see what Amtrak does next. Looking forward to riding the NextGen Acela train again, and I think that's everything. But thank you again for watching. If you learned anything or enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. This kind of engagement tells YouTube to suggest this video to other people who like trains like yourself, or just travel in general. And let us know down in the comments below if you've taken the NextGen Acela train or your experience on Amtrak so far. And also consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video as well. So I just want to say thank you again for watching, and I will see you again in the next video.